What's up, guys? Iceman here. Welcome to the Diablo Research Institution. So, I hate to say it, but you're doing it wrong, alright? Here's the best way to perfect your item in Diablo 4. First off, you have to find an item that is worth perfecting, obviously. And the best way to farm items, unfortunately, is in the Helltides fighting the Maiden. Just kill it over and over and over again until you get an item with 1 greater affix, 2 greater affix, or even 3 greater affixes that you find to your pleasure. In this case, I have a pair of gloves that has overpower damage. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to temper the item, because you don't want to waste your materials on re-rolling an affix if you're just going to brick the damn thing anyway. So you go to the blacksmith, you go to tempering, right click on the item so it goes into the window, and first you choose your stats. So basically, I'm looking for, let's say, just basic damage on this character, or summoning. Here we go. Let's say I want to do the old cookie cutter boring golem build, alright? So let's go for golem damage on this item. So we're going to temper it once. And I got golem damage. Now, and this is a max roll as well, holy cow. So it's important, I think, to settle when you get the stat that you want, even if it's a low roll. Because the problem is, if you temper the damn thing again, you're probably going to screw it up. So I wouldn't recommend retempering it just to try to get a higher stat on the same stat that you're looking for, if you already roll that stat. So then the next one, we do utility, for example, and let's say I want just decrepify size or curse duration or corpse tendrils, doesn't really matter in this case. They're all beneficial to the build. So this one now has rolled corpse explosion size. Screw that. I don't want corpse explosion size. Let's do it again. Corpse tendril size, and that's a very, very high roll. 38.5. Okay, so now we have the item tempered. So what's next? Well, obviously we want to re-roll a stat on the item. And this is something that you can do after Masterworking, but I think it's just better to do it now so you know you have a good item to work with. Now here's one thing you can always check. You can view possible affixes on the top right corner of this window. So you click on that. Now here's the thing. Here's the list of all the possibilities that can roll on the item. And the lower down the list you go, the more rare that stat is. So you're going to spend a ton of materials if you want to get one of these lower stats. So it's most beneficial to first find an item that already has one of these rare affixes on it if you want said rare affix. That's what I did with my character, for example. I found one that had +2 to skeletal mage, and then I masterworked it and I ended up getting +3 to skeletal mage. So basically that's really, really, really important. But let's say that these gloves have a mod that I want. So basically you re-roll the less desirable mod until you get something that you want. Maybe just an intelligence roll is fine. And with that, it's a pretty low intelligence roll, so you can do it a couple more times if you want. There's a nice high one, 84. And you could always keep your mod without re-rolling it. So now it's time to masterwork this item, which is nice because it lets you reset it if you don't get the mods that you want from masterworking. So masterworking is the last thing that you want to do. Because again, you can just keep doing it until you get what you want. It's just going to continually cost you more materials. So basically, you go to the blacksmith, you go to the right tab here, Masterworking. Now the problem is, I'm all out of these little materials that are required for the first 4 levels of Masterworking, the 4 of 12. So what you can do, if you don't have the lowest materials, but you have the next tier up or the tier after that, all of which you get from doing the pit, you can go over to the potion lady. All right, and she's the one with the little pot right here. So you'll run down to her. You could even put your little GPS signal on her. And you can downcraft your materials. So you go over to transmutation. You go down to the crafting materials tab. And it looks like I can make 33 of these ingoliths, but I can't make any of these yet because you make these with the ingoliths, which are the next step up from the obdicites, I think is how you say. So in this case, I'm just going to make as many as I can. So I'm going to craft 33 of those, and now I can make 99 of these. So I'm just going to make all 99. Now, it's important to note that these lower level crafting materials only get your item to level 4 of Masterwork. So now let's head over to the smith again. And Masterwork has 3 very important levels to it. It has levels 4, levels 8, and levels 12, all of which give you a 25% bonus. So it's really, really important to, at the least, get the mod that you want on the 4th level upon Masterworking. And if you don't get the one that you want enhanced, you have the opportunity to reset it. You always have the opportunity to reset it, but for probability reasons, it just only makes sense to try to get the stat that you want buffed with the 25% increase the first time around. So basically, let's start Masterworking this thing, and all these increases give it a 5%, as you can see here. And what's really important to note is for things like greater affixes, like this one is the overpower, for example, it's not going to give you 5% added to that 93, unfortunately. It's going to give you 5% of the base stat of what would otherwise be enhanced by the greater affix. So in terms of overpower, that base stat would only be 60%. So that's a really important thing to remember. So it's not necessarily crucial to re-roll or masterwork rather with the 25% bonus your greater affix mod. So in this case, you'd probably want golem damage being affected the most here. So here we are now on the 4th rank of Masterwork. So what you can do is hope and pray that you get the mod that you want. And in this case, I want the golem damage. So let's see if I get it. Come on, baby. Oh, shit. It's corpse tendril size, which is actually a pretty good mod. But now's the time to reset it. You know, because if you're really wanting to go for the golem damage, it's just better to do it early on. So at least you can say, well, I got one of the mods on my gear with the 25% bonus. Because the thing is, the 25% bonus can apply multiple times to the same mod. So you might never get one of the good mods on your gear hit by the 25% bonus. So let's do this again. And here's the 25% bonus time. Let's see what we get. And it gets intelligence, and you can tell that because it's blue. And if you hit it with the 2nd degree on the 8th level of Masterworking, if you hit the same stat, like in this example, if I were to hit the intelligence, it would turn yellow. And then if you hit it the 12 out of 12 time, it'll turn gold. So yeah, unfortunately, this was a shitty roll once again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset it one more time. So let's go again. And are you kidding me? Alright, so now I don't have enough to get the 4th rank. So let's say that I'm pissed off with this item. Here's something that I didn't know initially, but is really handy. Because in my stash, I actually have a lot of items from my old builds that are masterworked. And I thought, well, what a waste of materials. I just want to keep those just in case if I want to roll that build again or whatever, run it again. But the problem is that just takes up a ton of stash space. And yes, I think that we should have more stash space. So give me a hell yeah in the comments below if you guys think that we need more stash space in Diablo 4, especially Vessel of Hatred expansion coming up. I'd pay for it if they gave us the opportunity to, as long as it goes from season to season. But nonetheless, here's what you can do. Instead of just saving the item in your stash, you can actually salvage it, and it's going to refund you like 90 to 95% of the materials you used to make it. So let's salvage this thing. Let's unfavorite it first. And go to the blacksmith. Where are you at, buddy? And then you click the salvage button. And let's see the materials I get from it right here. See, I get 30 of these abductites back. And 3 of these scalding wards. 9 of the veiled crystals. And 24 rawhide. So you got like... Is it 70? You got like 80 or 90% of the materials used to craft it back. Now, you're not going to get refunded, of course, all the times that you wanted to restart your masterworking, but nonetheless, you do get some of those materials back. So ultimately, those are the steps you want to take when trying to perfect your gear. This is one of the few 12 out of 12 masterworked pieces that I have on my character. As you can see here, it only has one greater affix mod, which was the intelligence, and it did have 3 25% bonuses apply to 3 completely different stats, not necessarily the ones that I wanted it to apply to. So this would be a good example of one that maybe I would want to re-roll and get the 25% bonus applied to the skeletal mage damage, but it got it on both the intelligence, the maximum life, and the chance for skeletal mage attacks to cast twice. So basically, that's the rundown on it, and I hope you guys learned something here. Maybe you haven't. Let me know in the comments below if you have or have not, and more videos to come. Appreciate you guys. Like this video if you will, subscribe to the page, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace be with you.